to another layout update. I'm Will.
I'm Creston.
Or my dad for short.
We haven't worked on the hangar yet, but I did up on the airport here. But what I did do is add the backdrop. Again, this is the photo panoramic images that I've done, and cut out, and attached to the background with Mod Podge. Now, I did have to come down the hill over here. So to come down the hill, I used a couple of different scenes, and then to tie them together, I just used some really dark paint there. You can see I just kind of put a fake tree there. And then there's another seam that I didn't want to show. To put some dark green paint. And then same at the bottom. Now I'm going to have a bit of an embankment here and some things, and there's another seam covered up there. But you know, I will have some foreground trees right in front of those, so that really won't be that big of a deal. And then, even though we do have some background grass in the panoramic photo, as well as the trees, the hangar that we're going to put here is probably going to be about this high. And so it's going to be covering the majority of those trees, but we will be able to see between two different hangars and things like that. So anyway, I just want to give you a little update on that portion of the layout with our new backdrop going down the line to a certain point. In layout update number 3, I showed my process for adding tall grass using faux fur. So here I will give just a few highlights. To start out with, I use wax paper to trace the shape. Then I transfer that onto the backing of the faux fur. Make sure you use the word top or some way to mark what's the top and what's the bottoms when you put it upside down. On the backing, you'll have it the right way. Before I glue on the faux fur, I like to add lots of holes in order for the glue to have something to grab into for a mechanical bond. Here's the tool that I created to make the many holes into the foam. I use wood glue to adhere the faux fur to the layout. This way, when I add other scenery elements later, it's okay if I use water. After the glue dries, then I color the faux fur using Sharpies. Here it is partially colored. Here's the finished green lawn on top of the airport. If you'll notice at the bottom of the rock wall, I have a thin strip of tall grass. To create this, I created 2 strips of the faux fur and colored them on a piece of foam core. Then I glued them to the bottom of the rock wall. This was used to disguise the seam at the bottom of the rock wall, especially because this part of the layout, the airport, is removable to get to the track beneath it. So I needed something to disguise the seam. Alright, so when I originally did this area, you can see I added on this board to create a lower level for water, but then we added this bridge later, and it kind of bumped things out as well as these rock formations. So as we've progressed along, at this point we are getting ready to put a fascia along here, along the front edge, which goes down 6 inches, and just kind of will dress off the layout. But there's an issue that I, love the water feature, but want to have a little more of a water happening. So what I'm doing this evening is working on extending this out, just bumping it out some by adding another piece of foam. Again, this is why I love working with the extruded foam, is because it's so easy to add on and to take away and just kind of resculpt things. So let me show you how I'm going about this process. So the first thing I wanted to do is to draw a template for this. So I rolled in my storage bin here, and then putting the extruded foam on top of it up underneath here. I can easily, with my Sharpie, trace a line right across there to get the actual formation to cut the piece to go in here. I've now done that. thanks to time-lapse photography. So here is the piece, and it's going to hook under there. You're going to glue it right into here. So that is that part. Now, so that this is not too flimsy, and I'll use Gorilla Glue to fasten this, but so that it's not too flimsy, what I'm also doing is adding a second board of foam underneath. It's this one. This one will go there because I'll have Gorilla Glue on here, which will fasten it really well underneath there. And then this one will go on top of that. Hooking there, blah, blah, blah. So that's the way it's going to go. The reason I have these notches cut out here and here along the way, so I'm putting a little piece of 2x2, just some 2x2 cut lumber there, Gorilla Gluing it underneath the layout at different points, and that's going to be my my anchor to attach the fascia. I did glue on this piece last night before I went to bed and let it set and cure with Gorilla Glue. And now I'm going to put this the top piece on, which will be our new water level. So let me show you what I'm going to do with that in the process. Alright, so this sheet is in. Now I did test fit this earlier before I now the reason this is this weird kind of shape is because it hooks under there, and when it hooks under there, it lines up and gives me a good place, because I really wanted this to be a gentle curve coming into this. And I checked earlier that even though this is not a perfectly vertical cut, I checked with my level that this top edge is the outermost edge. So I will be able to put the fascia over the front of that once it's glued in, and have my fascia to be perfectly vertical. Let me show you what my fascia looks like. So it's masonite, and I think in the previous shot I said that it was 3/16. I think it's an 1/8. I did want it to be flexible enough, so now that's why I brought the bins over here, is because I wanted to be able to stack up some things and get my fascia where it goes, so I can make sure I cut this little corner over here so that it's going to seamlessly go into that. I think actually that's doing pretty well. I do need to cut a little bit off the bottom there, but I'll be good. So this fascia will actually come up to here. Do that. So anyway, and I will cut it down for the water feature, so that the bottom is the same going across, so it will be level with the top of this will be the top edge. So anyway, I'm going to glue that in and go from there. Then I can tomorrow or whenever, some later date, work on getting this seamless here as one surface for the water. One other tidbit is I mentioned that I had these cutouts for putting little 2x2 chunks. So I will put this under here, Gorilla Glue it together, and then when the fascia goes up, that'll be what I can put in a screw and anchor my fascia to. So something solid, instead of putting a screw into the foam, it'll be into here, because the Gorilla Glue does amazing at putting wood to foam. There you go.
This layout update is brought to you by ScaleTree.com, makers of Hero Trees and Forest Trees. Visit their website today at ScaleTree.com.